What's going on, guys? UFC 298 is right around the corner, and we are finally wrapping it up with today's full best bets video. We have all my plays going into UFC 298 so far, and we got a good ton of them. Starting with the videos we made this week, Roman Kopylov, Anthony Hernandez. I got this in at plus 180. It's now as high as plus 210. It's a must play for me. I think Roman's going to be able to stop the takedown. That's what he's going to need to do. He gets taken down, he's at risk of being submitted. I broke it all down in that video. I'm taking Roman to win, plus 210. I have the ticket at plus 180. I'm the idiot that thought the line was going to go the other way. I was wrong. We move on to the other video I made, Val Woodburn versus Open Elliott. I have made the play on Val Woodburn. Oh my God. I'm going to kick myself if it misses, but we didn't go crazy with the units. I got Val Woodburn decision no bet at plus 205 on Fanduel. And then I also have Val Woodburn to win in round 1 or round 2, and you get that at plus 460. So we did 0.3 units on the round 1, round 2, and then the decision no bet, we did half a unit. Garry, 30.5 significant strikes is his line for the first round against Jeff Neal. Looking at the statistics, Garry has hit that number in only one of his last 6 fights. I get coming into the fight, he's fighting Jeff Neal, who's aggressive. He's going to push the pace a little bit. But if there is any point in this first round where they're feeling each other out at all, like even for an instant, this bet is going to hit. Give me under 30.5. It's minus 120 on Bet365. We're going to take 1.2 units and put it on that bad boy. Really like that bet. That's probably my lock of UFC 298. So put your money down there. Then moving on from there, we also have in the Brendson Ribeiro fight versus Zhang Mingyang. I got Ribeiro. Ribeiro was a huge underdog in his Contender Series fight. He knocked him out. Let me get Ribeiro by TKO or KO at plus 210. And then I also took him earlier in the week, also at a bad number at minus 102 on Draftkings. The TKO KO I have 0.8 units on, and then to win I just have 0.4 units just in case. I think he's going to win by TKO. So it's basically a 1.2 unit play, but we're doing the TKO. We're splitting it up between TKO and Moneyline. And then Danny Barlow versus Josh Quinlan. I have that going under 1.5 rounds. Very focused on Danny Barlow's last performance on the Contender Series. Unless he's made a serious step to be more patient and composed, I think he's going to come out exactly like he did on the Contender Series. Going to be hot coming into a pay-per-view card against Josh Quinlan, who also hits like a Mack truck in most of his fights. You can get that as high as plus 112. I got in at plus 105 on Scorebet. I'm going to look to flip that onto a different book because I have seen plus 118 as well. My Twitter will keep you guys updated, but those are my list of bets going into UFC 298 so far. Good luck to everybody. If you have any other plays that I'm missing, play them in the comment section below. I'll review them and they'll be on my Twitter so that we can recap all the plays, picks, predictions on the following week's video. All right, guys, I missed recapping UFC Vegas 86 earlier in the week, so I'm going to do it at the end of this video. If you just wanted the bets for 298, you can click off now. But let's get right into some of the bets that we made. We'll start with the Aori Chilang pick that we started with. Aori Chilang really did help us out here. I think that if this fight did go to a decision, which was the only prop I had, was Chilang by decision, it would have gone to Marcos no matter what happened. I did have a really weird optimism when they started landing nut shots on each other non-fucking stop, that maybe Marcos would be the next one to land an illegal shot. Point comes off, we either get a draw, or if Aori Chilang somehow got that second round, because the second round was rather close. A big knee in the first round for Marcos secured him that round. Second round, in my opinion, was very close. Announcers didn't seem that way, but my opinion's my opinion. We could have caught the luck of the draw, and again, this was a 5-1 bet, so we catching the luck of the draw is all we can ask for from that. But most likely this fight would have gone into the third round. Aori Chilang, the most likely outcome was Aori Chilang to lose the bout, or if he was going to win by finish, and that wouldn't have helped us either way. So he probably saved us by voiding that play. Then we moved on to the Hyder Emil fight. The Hyder Emil fight, I felt pretty good watching it with my breakdown. Fernie Garcia is always going to be dangerous, but again, he was facing horrible circumstances for this fight. He was moving up a weight class. He was doing it on short notice. Good news for him is he was getting in there with a striker, and Fernie Garcia almost took advantage of the moment, landing a nice counter strike when Hyder Emil went balls to the wall, all out, trying to go for a finish. But by the second round, the lack of training camp clearly showed itself. Fernie Garcia starting to get exhausted. Hyder Emil showed to me even more that his chin is ridiculous. He has a great chin because he was getting caught with some clean strikes, and with his style being so aggressive, he's going to take those kind of shots against featherweights, but still he was able to eat a ridiculous counter strike from Garcia in the first round and not tire enough to stay on top of Garcia in the second round and cash both Hyder Emil as the big favorite, minus 188. I had a big play on that, so he cashed me a unit there. And then cashing also the under 2.5, which was actually a pretty sizable underdog play at plus 180. So we will take both of those hits. Moving on, the bad news from this fight, in my opinion, was watching it, I got overconfident. And then when I checked Bet365, I noticed that Bet365 had opened up a live bet option on the strikes, significant strike numbers of the co-main event as well. Briefly looking at on paper, Feely versus Dan Ige. With my lack of looking into the fight, I've made a play on 50 plus significant strikes on Andre Feely, and I did 1.2 units. You should never live bet something unless you're currently watching the fight. You should always do your research on plays, and that was real stupid of me. I'll skip to that fight for now. We'll go over the last two fights and then come back to my single bet remaining. But we had the Andre Feely 50 plus significant strikes. It was looking good, and then out of nowhere, Dan Ige. He is powerful. I knew that. I didn't think he was going to put Andre Feely's lights out like that. It was a brutal knockout. The follow-up shot bouncing Feely's head off the octagon. That one is one of those flash knockout moments where you go, all right, I guess I'll take the L there. And I also don't like the fact that I made a bet without doing any research on it. Live bets are supposed to be when you're sensing the feel of a fight, if somebody's getting tired, if odds makers are messing it up. Live, you don't do it when you're live betting something that was on the board from whenever they had it on the board since. So that was a dumb bet by me. That cost me 1.2 units. We get to the main event. The main event, it was a struggle for me to understand. Piper didn't have enough power to put Hermansson away, and then Piper did show that he's going to have to work a little bit on his cardio. Hermansson took over the fight. Third, fourth, fifth round was absolutely dominant. Piper's power didn't showcase itself like I thought it would. Piper burst onto the scene with a bunch of knockouts. To be fair, he didn't knock out Gerald Mearshart until the third round. I probably should have noticed that he wasn't knocking guys out and that Hermansson is extremely tough. The only guy that was able to knock Hermansson out really is Jared Cannonier. So we lost on the Joe Piper KO, TKO disqualification, and we lost on the under 114.5 significant strikes. I think Hermansson had more than 114 significant strikes himself. I had under combined. That one really hurt. And then finally, my Darius Flowers bet. Man, I was debating with myself whether I should have left this play on at all. I dropped it to half a unit by the time the fight started. And to be honest, Darius Flowers, he did have a power advantage. He almost, I say almost, it wasn't even really that close. In the third round, landing some big shots to Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson showcased his grappling, which was really, really good. But he's more technical on the feet, Michael Johnson. It was clear to me, even from my research, that Michael Johnson was a better striker, in my opinion. Lacked the power as much as Darius Flowers. Lacked a little bit of power compared to Darius Flowers. And then one other play I actually was leaning on, but I never actually made the play. I said it in my video. It was a lean, not a play. Adolfo Vieira. I knew the grappler in this spot. Arman was taken down like crazy in a bunch of his fights. Adolfo, with his skill set, once he got the takedown, you knew it was a matter of time. If Arman could survive, it would be until the bell. And the first two takedowns Adolfo landed, he sunk in a deep arm triangle choke submission. He was transitioning through positions with ease. This one I'm going to kick myself over missing. Would have put me in the green on the night. I saw it in the lead up in my breakdown. It was a tough loss for me to take, but we now have UFC 298 to look forward to. So we're going to hope that the bets start cashing, the bets start flowing. A recap of UFC Vegas 86 is on screen now. This is now our total running count for 2024. Actually, I might have meant that because I made bets on other cards, but for now, that was UFC Vegas 86's recap, and I will see you after UFC 298. Good luck. Have a good one. Goodbye.